give it up to Rory Fanning, Afghani veteran. He'll tell you the real truth, the way that our government is not.
Thank you very much. The anti-war movement is back. Here in Chicago, thank you. 7 years ago, I was dismissed from the 2nd Army Ranger Battalion. 8 days after the country's highest-ranking elected officials and military brass began covering up Pat Tillman's death. I had been on base lockdown for 6 months prior for refusing to participate in the racist colonialization of Iraq. I had been to Afghanistan twice and was spending the last 6 months washing dishes, painting curbs, and absorbing the ridicule of my superior officers. Leaving a special forces unit as a conscientious objector is like sticking your face over the lip of an erupting volcano. I was not just questioning the motivations of foreign policy, U.S. foreign policy, I was betraying a sacred brotherhood in the eyes of many of my fellow soldiers. I say all this because I'm here to address the enlisted soldiers fighting in a two-front war of U.S. imperialism and corporate interests. To the enlisted soldier whose missions have claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians over the last 10 years, put your weapons down. To the enlisted soldier who is led by officers and politicians that have proven they are more interested in promotions, power, corporate profits, and control of other countries' natural resources than democracy and freedom, put your weapons down! To the enlisted soldier who is fighting with the same weapons that have tried to suppress democratic uprisings in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Libya, Jordan, Yemen, Bahrain, the same people who are supplying you with your weapons are also supplying brutal dictators in the Middle East with their weapons. Put your weapons down! To the enlisted soldier who comes home psychologically and physically damaged, yet will be neglected proper health care. Put your weapons down! To the enlisted soldier in Israel who has participated in a relentless and violent assault against the Palestinian people, put your weapons down! To the enlisted soldier whose missions are taking away much-needed funds from our public schools, put your weapons down! To the enlisted soldier whose leadership has covered up the deaths of people like Pat Tillman and hundreds of thousands of Iraqis and Afghanis, put your weapons down! To the enlisted soldier whose mission has taken away money from much-needed public housing, put your weapons down! To the enlisted soldier who has lost thousands of your fellow soldiers for the benefit of capitalists, put your weapons down! And finally, I know that coming home to a real-time unemployment rate of 18% is not easy. I know that you will face great amounts of ridicule and abuse from your superior officers should you decide to lay your weapons down. But let me tell you, it is a much better alternative than killing in the name of an egregious and unjust cause that benefits a small amount of wealthy aristocrats. I am much more proud of my exit from the military than my entrance. Enlisted soldiers, you are fighting the wrong battle. Enlisted soldiers, unite with your poor and working class brothers and sisters in the real fight here at home against the Skywalkers, the Rahm Emanuels, the Sean Bears, and the Barack Obamas of the world. The real fight involves standing in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Egypt, Bahrain, Libya, Tunisia, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the rest as they fight against their U.S.-backed puppet dictators. We need you on your side. Put all your weapons down!